Before you dive straight into solutions, there's a few steps to consider taking that will help you understand and acknowledge what is happening with your burnout and with your body, because we are really dismissive of this. It's been completely normalized, and we're also gaslit about it all the time. So I just want to cover that in this first part, and then definitely we'll dive into some solutions. Hi, I'm Hannah. I'm a professionally trained growth and leadership coach, and I help people get unstuck and moving toward fulfilling their potential and purpose. I use evidence-based techniques and methodologies, as well as scientifically backed research to develop strategies to help you be successful. I'm not a therapist, and I always advise you to seek help from a mental health professional when appropriate. So number one, just acknowledge that you are burnt out. Say it out loud, accept it. Just give yourself permission to own what is happening and simply acknowledge it. And the next thing is kind of a big deal. It's really understanding the impact that burnout is having on your body. And this is the part that we really don't talk about a lot, especially in the business world, but there's a lot happening there. Neuroscientists have discovered that burnout actually enlarges your amygdala, which is the part of the brain that controls your emotional reactions. So you might notice that you're more moody or irritable, and this can also cause your stress response to trigger easier. Burnout also causes the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for cognitive functioning, to thin. Okay, this is a big one. Burnout activates the sympathetic nervous system. So that's responsible for your fight or flight response. You're in this state of like, your body thinks that there's a threat, right? Like that's the response that has been triggered. And there's a lot that I'll talk about that you can do to help regulate that. So you're gonna have higher levels of cortisol, which weaken the immune system, disrupt sleep patterns, contribute to anxiety and depression. So as you can tell, burnout has a huge impact on your body. So just understanding that, right? And then the next thing that you need to do, knowing that, is rest. Your brain, your entire nervous system, your body, like you're in distress. Your body thinks that there's an ongoing threat happening. And you probably feel that physically too, right? You're exhausted. So before you do anything else, you just need to carve out time to rest. And you're going to be fighting this. You're going to fight the urge to be productive. But you got to release that. You've got to release the attachment of the traditional understanding or definition of productivity as we were taught it through society, and reframe it with the understanding that productivity comes in many different forms, and rest is one of them. And just because you're not producing results for somebody else that are tangible does not mean that you are any less or you are any less productive. So also remember that rest can look very different for everyone, and there's lots of different types of rest. So it's not just sleeping. Sleeping can be one form of rest, but also meditation, yoga, relaxing, listening to music, spending time with friends and family. Connecting is really important. Creating time for yourself to be creative in whatever endeavors you feel like. Taking a hot bath or shower. So just see what works, which combination, and how you can fit it into your routine or your rhythm. So regulating your nervous system is going to be really important. I mentioned that like it's all out of sorts, right? And there's a lot of things that you can try, thankfully, to kind of reset or regulate your nervous system, some of which you probably already do. But you can try exercise, breath work, icing your vagus nerves, sunlight, nature, detoxing from stimulants like alcohol, visualization, bilateral stimulation, just becoming aware, having body awareness, becoming aware of your body, the sensations in your body, the emotions in your body, and acknowledging those. These other solutions I call surface solutions because they're really external. Surface solutions include developing an accountability plan to ensure that you are accountable to resting and recovering from your burnout. Developing a reward system, managing your time in a more effective way. And there's lots of different tools, prioritization frameworks, monotasking, time limits, things like that. Finding a focused toolkit, working with your ultradian rhythm, understanding when your peak performance is happening, and your energy outputs, and working with your brainwave stuff. The next set of solutions I call soul solutions because they're really long term. They get to the heart of the issue. It's not that surface level, my boss is seeing that I'm doing this differently. It's inner work. It's hard inner work that is not only going to help with your burnout today, but also going to help prevent burnout in the future. One of the first things to consider is training your brain, just understanding that, right, you can increase the neuroplasticity of your brain and carving out time for knowledge expansion. Auditing your energy, mapping your energy. I do this with clients a lot. So looking at your inputs and outputs, what's happening with your energy during the day. Audit your attachments. What kind of attachments are you holding on to about productivity, your identity, work, your role, things like that, your physical attachments, what's going on in your house. Lots of attachments that actually tend to hold us down, and we usually don't take the time to audit them. When we do, we're changing our physical environment, we're changing our internal belief system, and it allows us to see all the potentials that were blocked previously. And lastly, improve your relationship with yourself. This one's a big one. It's like part of that, like the work, right? And there's a lot of different steps that you can go through to do this, but at the core of it is really remembering who you are, remembering where unconditional love can always come from, and respect as well, and how you can connect to your passion and your purpose and move through healing. So I hope that this was helpful. Let me know if you want me to dive into any of these specifically in a different video.